Welcome everyone to a second update, and in this update we'll be discussing a few requested coins that you have been responding to me on my Twitter earlier today. But before we're going to continue with the update, I would like to ask you to subscribe to this YouTube channel beneath, and also do not forget to check out the giveaway which starts today. We're giving away 2 times a 0.01 Bitcoin. Tomorrow we're going to do a second giveaway, and we're going to do that 24 times in this month. So if you want to join the giveaway, check out the description beneath as well. Finally, do not forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Tomorrow we're going to have some new cool content on a different channel in the Netherlands. And also I'll be on the Telegraph once again. So that's going to be cool. You can follow that all on Twitter and Instagram. So in this update, we are going to discuss 5 altcoins which you have been requesting. You have been requesting a lot. Thank you for that. But we're going to discuss 5 of those. And the primarily question is, should you be buying Matic, Harmony or Vechain at this point, as we're going to cover those 3 and 2 other altcoins in this update. So when we're going to watch or check those coins, the first one we're going to discuss is Matic. And all over the field we have been seeing breakouts. We have been seeing Ethereum doing pretty much very strong at this point. We also have been seeing some altcoins that have not been moving too well, all because of Bitcoin not clearly giving us a path where we're going to follow through or where we're going to head to at this point. Because of that, altcoins are not doing too much yet, but selectively we can see a few doing really well. Matic is starting to move upwards at this stage, and when we're looking at the price action in itself, some beautiful retests have been done here when it comes to the price action against the USDT. We've had a beautiful impulse wave in October, got all the way back towards support and this order block once again, but overall we are making higher lows. So we are building up the pressure and we are building up towards a new breakout above this all-time high. Right now we are getting into the last resistance point, through which if there is an area that you want to look at for potential entries, you're looking at this green zone here in which we can be dipping all the way there and still be bullish before we're going to make a breakout. All those altcoins are depending on what Bitcoin is going to do. So only if Bitcoin remains stable, you can expect this to be taking place. If Bitcoin is going to make a very critical move or be very volatile, it is expected that the price action of altcoins will also be destroyed for a little bit. So when we're looking at Matic, I think this is the crucial level to look at. First target point can be derived from this primarily corrective move since the recent high, and based on that factor we can be starting to expect $2.70 if this green zone is going to hold. Matic against Bitcoin, pretty much the same beautiful view. There's a minimal order block here which has been seeing a few retests and has been the support so far. Since then we've also had a beautiful support resistance flip at 2600 sats, and we've had a beautiful one at 28. At this point in this structure, to avoid a retest taking place at 27, you clearly want to see this retest taking place or flip holding up around 3152. Given the fact that we're currently seeing so many breakouts across the field, or at least a few of those breakouts taking place, if Matic is going to break out of this range, it seems likely that we're going to have an impulse wave. So there are 2 scenarios that you could be looking at. One is you're playing this level around 3150. The second one is you're going for this flip and then we start accelerating upwards, in which we're targeting 5200 next, as we have been testing this resistance zone quite often. The second altcoin that I want to discuss is TLM. Beautiful breakout here for Alien Worlds, in which we also have been retesting some beautiful levels before we can start continuing the upwards momentum, in which we are currently also seeing this retest here and the order block sustaining as support. Based on the daily time frame, it's quite hard to actually continue or confirm that we're going to make a new impulse wave, especially given the fact that we've just recently seen one. So I'm assuming we're going to have some more sideways action with this as the beautiful base layer before we can start breaking out out of any continuation pattern. And when we're going to break out of such a structure, you can use Fibonacci extension once again to derive the targets. But at this point, I'm not seeing too much, despite the fact that I'm looking at 35 cents for a potential entry point. When we're looking at the Bitcoin pair, I've been tweeting about TLM earlier, in which we also had this beautiful deviation on below the lows. We've got a support resistance flip, which I mentioned here, and we have been accelerating since then. So this flip is actually triggered, and it has cost you almost a 3x in profits. Levels that I'm looking at on the Bitcoin pair, around 580 sets and 500 sets. Those two are actually entry points for me, based on the daily time frame. And I think you should be focused on the daily time frame the most. If you're looking at scalp trades, you're definitely going to zoom in, but based on the daily time frames, I'm looking at those. The third one is one that is actually showing a very clear path of sideways action, in which we have been acting inside this range for approximately 2 years. That is what we can see across the markets. That is what we can see with many altcoins. We've had deviation here too, but once again, we're just acting sideways when it comes to IOTA, in which we can't really say too much. If we're clearly going to make higher lows, higher highs, if we're clearly going to make a break and flip higher time frame levels, that is where I'm going to get interested into IOTA at this point. But right now, it's hard to derive any entry points. Maybe you can find one around this level once again. If that is lost, you're going to look at 1560, and the second you want to look here. There's not much you can say at this point, especially since the coin has been moving sideways heavily. IOTA against USDT, pretty much the same view, has been retesting levels many times, and clearly has not been making any breakout or impulse wave yet. In that regard, you are waiting for a clear trend to be taking place. If we break above the resistance, we can look for a potential flip of this level to be taking an entry from. This is a deviation, so we could be looking at something like this. Otherwise, I'll just be patient when it comes to IOTA. The fourth one is Harmony. We have been covering it a lot, and it has been making big movements previously too. You can see that those beautiful retests of order blocks are taking place here as well. Since then, sideways action, breakout, another retest, and now we're just chopping around, in which two levels I'm personally watching the most. I'm watching whether we can actually finally have this bounce on support here once again. If that's going to take place, you're questioning yourself whether we're going to make a lower high or whether we're continuing the trend. But at least this is an area where I want to seek for potential long entries. If this one is lost, I'm seeking for a long entry in this region, but then definitely only looking for a bounce play towards 490 to 500 sets, as most likely we're going to make a lower high and continue the trend downwards. So preferably you're looking at a potential play that holds here around 420 sets. If that is going to hold, we can start attacking the upper side of the range once again. Harmony against USDT, pretty much the same view, has been running up significantly at this point, in which we're looking at some support plays to be taking place. I think the only crucial support you should be looking at is this entire green zone, which is the range low. So if we dip here, I think you still want to look for potential longs. However, we've already got a lower high taking place here, so potentially the trend is downwards, and if the trend is downwards, I'm also going to look around the area of 17 cents. Then finally, Vechain. Where are we with Vechain? Well, we are looking at a structure that is similar to this one. Sideways action, sideways movements until we get compression, until we switch the trend and we start breaking out. I've been covering these two levels since we have been correcting here, and right now we're trying to establish a higher low here. We might be getting some sideways action like this some more before we start to attack the high, and then we get this construction. Where are we right now? We are somewhere in the middle, in which we're trying to establish that higher low. Is Vechain actually a beautiful entry point right now? I think you should become interested if you want to get into altcoins. I think the period is definitely starting at this point, and especially if Vechain is going to confirm this higher low, we might be continuing the upwards trend. When it comes to Vechain against USDT, We are also back into support at this stage, but still we're confirming or looking for confirmation from Bitcoin. If that one is going to confirm that the market is ready for continuation, that is the moment where altcoins are starting to fire off. And at this moment, I'm not convinced about Bitcoin yet, and that's what we're going to cover tomorrow in tomorrow's update. Before I say goodbye, do not forget to check out the giveaway beneath and subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'll see you again tomorrow.